The recording. Yes, good. Okay, welcome everybody to our Monday morning miracle call. As I was saying before, it's incredible to start every week with hearing miracles about how phenomenal this technology is, how the X39 and how LifeWave is changing people's lives. We are blessed. We are so blessed to be able to have this in our life and share it with other people. So this morning is all about you sharing your miracle because the truth is, when you share miracles, it brings more miracles into your life. So think about that when you are getting ready to raise your hand and share what has happened in your life, or maybe somebody that you know that you've shared the patches with. We love all kinds of stories. So, the first 15 minutes of this call, we're going to focus on just the X39 and Celergize. Oh, and let me introduce myself. I'm Beamy Casey. I am in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm one of the four hosts that love to be with you every Monday. We take turns. And we have people calling in, obviously, from all over the country. And we especially want to welcome the new people that are here because this is for you to see how miraculous what you have and what you're getting involved with and what you're using can really make a difference in your life and the people that you love. So the testimonials that we hear here today are anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute, and of course, are compliant, which means that we don't mention any disease or illness names. We're talking about symptoms only so that we stay compliant because we don't diagnose, treat, or cure anything. What the technology does is activate the body to go into a self-healing mechanism. And those of you who do want to share, there is a button on the bottom where it says react. Hopefully, you'll see that. And if you click on it, you'll see raise your hand. And that's the best way to share. So then you pop up and I can call on you and you can help share what's going on and for everybody on the call. So, on the second 15 minutes, we'll open it up and you can talk about any of the patches that you've been using. And also, if you've had a water X2O machine, you can talk about that as well. So, let's get going. Hey, Lynn, I'm glad you have your hand up. So, come on in and share what's happened with you.
Well, I started, I'm in the California line under Dr. Velvet primarily. Um, I started in October of 24, and I have gradually kind of moved up, almost made it to director, and then lost some. So I'm kind of going back and forth right now, but I'm still focused. Very, very good friend of mine. I started on the patches about 3 weeks ago. She was having a lot of issues. She has not taken any ibuprofen since that day that she started. She wasn't dizzy anymore. She could get up and down out of chairs by herself, which she had not been able to do for quite a while. I met privately with her and her husband to make sure that he was willing to support her, and he saw all the improvements in her, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, this is fabulous." A week ago Friday, he had a very bad accident. Thought his truck, he was in a work truck, turned over, and when the thing exploded, he thought the truck was on fire, and he kicked out the windshield, didn't have his work boots on, and he cut his ankle very bad. Anyway, that was a week ago. He had, I don't know how many stitches, but I have pictures from the hospital before they sewed him up. I have pictures after they sewed him up. And then I have pictures from a week, just this past a week. And I'm asking for more pictures, but it is amazing the healing on his leg. They are solid.
Thank
And
you.
so I'm very excited because they're 30-year friends of mine. She's originally from South Africa. We sent some
Yes,
patches to her sister.
that's
So
wonderful. And we're so happy for that kind of healing. And one of the things in the patch that the patch does, Lynn, which is what you're talking about, it elevates the GHK copper peptide in the body. So that kind of healing from an operation and stitches and scars and all that is one of the primary benefits that happens. So thank you so much for sharing that.
you're welcome.
Okay, Michelle.
Good morning, lovely Beamy. So good to see you again. You've been
Thank you.
traveling.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm going to follow up on that wound story. I have, oh my gosh, I've been using the X39 for 6.5 years. So I have many, many stories. And I really want to encourage other people to get their hands up. It always starts a little slow and then they start going up. So I'm going to encourage everyone to put your hand up and share with us because you will bless us with your story. So one of my most dramatic ones, Beamy, was many of you have heard this, where I cut the tip of my finger off, like the very, very tip, not like the little boy in those photos um, where he lost the entire end of his finger. But mine, it was a chunk, a significant chunk of the tip of my finger. But I was putting my hand into a trash can to push the trash down, not knowing that someone had put a broken plate in there and it was underneath. And I just sliced off the tip of my finger. It was excruciating pain. And went to the emergency room because it was an emergency. I couldn't stop the bleeding. But interestingly, the pain, which was like a 20 out of 10, it was just excruciating. I grabbed an X39, had the presence of mind to grab a patch as my friend took me to the hospital. And I had one on the back of my neck already, but I wanted a fresh one. And I had a wad of paper towel around my finger because it was bleeding so profusely. I couldn't put the patch right on it. I had to put it over the paper towel. And as we all know, the patch will work when it's within 3 inches of the body. And this was about an inch away. And I kid you not, in about 5 minutes, the pain was cut in half. And by the time I got to the emergency room, I could at least think straight. It still hurt, but it was incredible how that X39 took the pain down. And then my recovery was amazing. The doctor said you're going to have a deformed finger. There was nothing to sew together because I cut a chunk off. And my finger, it's called granulation, and it's like it filled back in with the help of the patch. And it was mostly X39. I did use Ice Wave for pain, but it was mostly the X39 that did that for me. So thank you for letting me share.
that is incredible, Michelle. You know, I've seen some other stories where a deep cut or the finger was going to fall off, and the doctor was like, "Oh, we can't do anything." And the patch is regenerative. You know, it helps the body to regenerate.
Absolutely. Yes.
This is
Yeah.
phenomenal. So thank you
Thank you.
for sharing that. Okay, Josephina, you're on.
First of all, I want to congratulate Michelle for being a complete woman again.
Yeah.
So I fell in October last year, and it was a pretty bad fall, and I have weak bones, and I was very concerned that I had really messed myself up. I hit on my left kneecap, and I thought it had shattered it. And then I bounced back and hit my tailbone, and man, that hurt. I felt like throwing up. It was so painful. And I fell over a box, so I twisted my hip, and I thought, oh man, I really messed up my hip. I'm going to need a hip replacement or something. So, and I was home by myself, so what I did is I wallpapered. I put all kinds of patches all over my knee, my butt, and my hip. The next day I went to see the chiropractor, and he says, what happened? So he was surprised that it wasn't swollen and it wasn't bruised. But he said I was all messed up and he fixed me up. I patched for several weeks like that. And then convention came 2 weeks later, and I was able to make it, go up and down the stairs with a little bit of problem, but I did it. And then going 3 months into patching with what I did is I put the carnosine on my kneecap, the Eon on the inside, and the glutathione on the outside of the kneecap, and I feel like new again. And so that's a protocol I've been sharing with
Right.
people who need knee replacement, and they are amazed at the results that they're getting.
Yes, that is a very powerful protocol. Thank you for bringing that up. And we hear story after story of how that heals, helps the body to heal. So thank you. And we're glad you were at convention with no pain.
Yes, and we loved it. I enjoyed it. We had a great time.
It was a lot of walking.
Mhm.
Okay, Miss Tammy Lou, you're on.
Hello. Whoops, sorry. I've got two things going on here. Sorry about that.
Okay.
My story this morning I'd like to share is I heard, the finger, the finger one and the finger being cut off and all this and that. Mine a few years ago, about 3 years ago, I've been on the patches for a little over 5 years, closer to 6 years now. And I actually lost my toenail. I picked up a thing and it fell off and it landed on the ground and I passed out when I looked at that because my toenail was on the ground. And so I passed out. I woke up. I picked up my toenail and put it back on my toe because, I looked and there was no dirt or anything and stuck it back on there. And when I pressed down on it to push it on, I passed out again. And then, I got up, I hobbled my way into the house, got a face cloth, wrapped it and squeezed it tight, and I was ready to pass out again. Grabbed the X39 on the back of my neck, put it on there, and then wrapped it. I made sure it was clean, and then I wrapped it. And I put glutathione on. I put other patches on it. It wasn't just the X39, but that's the first thing I thought of. The pain within an hour, my pain was gone. I mean, my toenail was off. And I put it back on, wrapped it, and then later on that night, I got on the Doc Talk and I shared my story. And Dr. Tom Acklin pipes up and he said, "Yeah, you probably should have just left it off, Tammy. It's not gonna, you're not gonna heal anything there. It's off, it's off." Well, I beg to differ. I kept patching it and praying and just, hoping that, these patches would do what they say they're going to do. And today I have the same toenail. It grew out, but you can't tell. And normally when you lose a fingernail or a toenail or something, you can tell it's all disfigured or something like that. You cannot tell on my foot that I lost that toenail and that it grew out. It didn't fall off. It grew out just like my other toenails. And so hearing those other stories this morning made me want to share that. So thank you for
Yeah.
letting me share that. I mean, it's wonderful. I mean, I've got, I got the same, it's a
Thank
nice
you.
looking
Yeah.
toenail.
Yeah. No, when we have these miracles, you can see how exciting it is because
It is.
we don't expect certain things, and then we have these recoveries. Thank you. And let's try to I know there's a lot to say. Let's try to condense the stories a little bit. Okay, Ravel, you're next.
Thank you, Beamy. As you mentioned earlier, we've heard a lot of testimonials over the years. I think I'm coming up to 6 years on wearing X39. And there was one that stuck in my mind. It was a gentleman in his 80s who mentioned that when he started using X39, he felt a sense of peace and well-being and happiness that he had not felt in a very long time. It's unfortunate that he discontinued using it after a few months. Later on, he actually had a fall, and I remember thinking to myself, if he was wearing X39, maybe he would have had the balance to have avoided that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Glenda.
Good morning. I was going to give a non-X39 story, but I have X39 stories all over the place. So I said, hey, I can do that too. I really the first really major result for me was feeling my endurance when I started using X39. I'm 71 and I've been using it for a little less than 2 years. But I just recently finished a big fundraiser. I'm the chair of the decorating committee, which means I am hauling bins of really heavy tablecloths, glass, upstairs, downstairs, and everyone on my committee that's over 50 won't volunteer. And I run circles around them. I really do. I can do the stairs. And I don't get sore. I don't really get fatigued. It's just amazing. And it just reminded me the other day too, Friday, I was carrying a whole bunch of stuff out for a woman because we were in a meeting and she had brought all this stuff she needed. And I head to the stairs and I've got 4 people standing at the elevator going, "You're going to use the stairs?" I go, "I never think about using an elevator." So it's amazing. And when I have chance, I'll give you a non-X39 story.
Okay, we can circle back around. And, this is so encouraging because, those of us that are older and everybody's aging, so the bones are always and the muscles can weaken. But, I'm older as well, and I've noticed what you've noticed. You're able to lift and do things and move around. And, I can feel my muscle strength and my bone strength is strong. So, this is critical as you're getting older that you're able to stabilize and increase this. And David Schmidt, talks about this. The X3949 combination is a good duo for that. Okay, Jerry.
Good morning, Beamy and everyone. Since we're past the halfway mark, first I'll give an
Yes.
X39 and a quick Eon. But anyways, I'm reading one from one of my brand partners that she had a 12-year-old dog with lots of lumps, and some of them were quite large. He had been diagnosed with panic disorder. And since wearing the patches, the inflammation in him has gone way down. Most of the lumps are gone, and the big ones are only half the size that they were. He's much calmer and does not pant all evening. He plays like a much younger dog. And I am your furry dog person, so I need to bring in that, our furry animals. And then a quick Eon. I was in the kitchen and I had the dishwasher drawer down, on. My husband came right around the corner and walked straight into it with the shin. And he was even tearing. I mean, it hit him so hard. And I just said, "Get to the bathroom, get an Eon on." And he's him and hawing, gets back there. He goes, puts the Eon on. Before he could get back to the kitchen, the pain was gone. So thank you for letting me share. And come on next. Come on, get your hands up, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, the pain relief that happens, inflammation is one of the number one causes of illness, disease, all kinds of pain. So when the body is reactivated from the patches and that inflammation starts to come down, this is why you hear these kind of pain results so that go away or dissolve so quickly because we all have inflammation. We're dealing with the toxins and the air and food and stress and everything. So the patches help to mitigate this, help our body to mitigate this so that we can have a more balanced, stronger experience of our health. So just wanted to put that little tidbit in. Okay, Josephina, you're back.
So when I started using the patches about a year and a half ago, I used the X39 only. And about 5 to 7 days after I used the patch every day and stay hydrated, for the first time in like 50 years, over 50 years, I was able to sweat and it felt great. I was so excited. We were in a really nice place that was very, very hot. It was a hot summer day. And I used to carry my water bottle so I can spray myself and cool myself down. And I didn't have to that day. I went, "Oh, I'm sweating. People are looking at me like that lady's weird." But it was my cooling mechanism that was working again. And I was so excited that sold me into the product. I'm sharing it with everybody now. It changed my life. And that's one of
Yeah.
the many stories I've had. So if you need more, I can tell you more.
Thank you for sharing that. You know, when we have lifelong conditions that we think we'll never be able to shift or change, you start this technology and boom, it just changes completely. It's miraculous. I mean, these are miracles.
My eyes
Miracles.
are my eyes are changing. I went to check my eyes because I thought I needed a new prescription, and the doctor said, you don't need your glasses for reading, and you need them for the computer either. You don't need them anymore. And he's like, and I asked him about my cataracts, and um, he says they're baby and they never go away. Well, this last time I went, well, the time before he told me that. So this last time he didn't even mention them. I bet you I don't have them anymore.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much.
hmm
Okay, Glenda, again. Yay.
Okay, because I've never told this story. This is a new one. So, I'm just a walker and I do a little yoga. That's what I do. And I started about a year ago, I started getting this pain in my arch and my heel. And I didn't even know what it was. People have a name for it, I found out. And it was really bothering me. I'd get up in the morning and I'd be hobbling and I'd have to stretch it out. And it was really, when I took longer walks, it was really bothering me. And it was very depressing. I was doing my patches and stuff. But don't know why. I one day said, just put an E on right on that sore spot. And I did. And I couldn't believe the next morning it was like I could hardly feel it. And I had done the shoes, I'd done the, insteps things, and I was like, I could hardly feel it. So now it's pretty much gone. Like I really, really stretch and can kind of feel it once in a while, but it's not bothering me. I took a really long walk on Saturday. It didn't bother me. And so I'm just doing Eon and glutathione. But what was interesting and what I wanted to share is somehow putting the light in at that place made a difference. And so putting it really on the place that hurt made all the difference in that particular instance. And so I'm very excited because I was
Thank
very concerned my walking would be
Yeah, that's a
affected.
big deal.
Yeah.
And, to the point, if you feel intuitively to put a patch in a certain place, go ahead and do it because your body is speaking to you. The body and the patch and the light, everything is communicating. So you can get an internal feeling and just follow that because that's a good guide for you. Okay, Emily.
Okay, so where do I want to start? X39. First of all, I've been a registered nurse for 58 years, a holistic registered nurse. I have been on the patches now for 22 months. And when I first started, I had moved from LA to South Bend, Indiana to be with my grandchildren. My eyes were so bad, I could not drive anymore. I had to have someone drive me. I couldn't I couldn't walk without walking sticks. I mean, my life from being a hiker, a biker, a kayaker, a woman of all trades, I could not function in this life of diminished ability. And a friend called me from California, a healer friend, and she said, "Do you know about stem cells?" That was the question she asked me. Oh, I
So
should be
can
speedy.
Yeah,
Go
no,
to the
just
point.
yeah, right. But just kind of condense your story a little bit because we only have a few minutes.
Wearing the patches, the X39 patches, now my eyes have improved. They're not perfect, but they've improved. I'm driving, I'm running, I'm walking, I no sticks, no anything. So, and I've just been sharing. Everybody sees my change and wants to know. So, yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah, that's the best. Thank you. And with your background, that's amazing. We love to hear that. Sun Shower.
Morning, everybody. Thanks so much for hosting, Beamy. So I want to follow up on the sweat story. And many people that have been around the block with LifeWave knows this one. I was born without the sense of smell. And so 2 years into wearing the X39, one day I'm out weeding in my yard and I go, wow, this weed smells different than this weed. Wait, what a minute. Wait, I can't smell. Yes, I can now smell. Thanks to David Schmidt and X39. Thanks so much.
Thank you. That is so powerful because smelling is so important when you're eating. Okay, Beck, please
Good
unmute.
morning. Good morning, Beamy. Loving this today. Sunshine, I tell your story all the time. Wear it for a long time. I want to talk about the power of the patch. I injured my rib last spring when I was planting tomatoes, and I was leaning into it, my rib with a shovel, and I heard this kind of pop and pain, and it lasted for 2 months. I never thought about moving the patch. Suffered. It finally got better. I think what I did is I put the patch X39, started putting it on there in about a week. It was gone. Now listen to this. I did it again, laying my belly on a chair to get to a plug, and I felt that same tender spot. And I remembered this time the power of the patch and the power of moving the patch. So I put X39 and Eon right on my rib. I am a week out, and the pain is gone in 1 week. So, and I don't have the tenderness that I had. So, man, move that patch.
Thank you. Love that story. Kate, come on in.
Hi, everybody. I just want to make a plug for our intuition. I received my SP6 patches one day when one of my legs was swollen. It was my right leg. And we wear the SP6 typically on the left side of our body. And something said, put it on the right, put it on the right, put it on that swollen leg. I put it on, I went to bed, and it was normal in the morning.
Yay. Love
Trust for intuition.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I think we'll finish up with Jerry. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll finish you up today. I'm going to tell a story that I haven't told for quite a while. Several years ago, I took a bad fall, fractured my pelvis in 2 places. What I did was wallpaper and used probably every patch imaginable. Plus, I used about 3 sets of the ice waves when the medics were trying to put a claw on me that I screamed. And within 45 seconds, they lifted me on a claw, put me on a gurney, and I never took a drug at all for pain. Not saying I didn't hurt when I moved. And then along with that, I was a user of X49 right when it came out. So prior to my fall, I probably had been on 18 months. And when I went to the orthopedic doctor 3 weeks out, he wasn't going to take an x-ray, and I asked him to. And because I wanted to compare it to the next time. And so he did take that x-ray. And while he was sitting there, he says, do you know you have bone growing back already? That's what I was waiting to hear. And then by 6 weeks, both fractures were engulfed in new bone. So, just get on the patches. They work, be consistent. You never know when something you've been on for a long time is going to help, which the X49 helped me tremendously. And go for it. So thank you so much for hosting today, Beam, and we'll let you take us out.
Okay, I want to thank everybody for being here. Excuse me, and especially, the new people again who are just getting going. This is a very important call because it helps you to see the value. It is inspiring, it's motivational, and it's a great call to invite other new people to, because everybody wants to know, is it going to work? Is it going to work for me? And as you hear all these stories, you see it's never just one thing. Everybody gets multiple benefits. And this is what's so extraordinary, because the body is very complicated and we don't know everything that's going on. But when you put this technology on, the body starts to wake up again and starts to balance, and all kinds of amazing results will start to happen. So, like you've heard, stay consistent, use, the X39, add on whatever you feel is good for you to couple it with, and really share this with other people. Invite them. Every Monday we're here. Jerry, Sunshower, and Michelle, we all host a different Monday for you guys. So, and tonight is the Mascari call, so please tune in for that and have a beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you.
Great call.
Great call, Beanie.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a
Thanks.
good
Thank you,
week.
everyone.
Have a
And
wonderful
we're
day,
sorry for
guys.
the sorry call.
Ooh.
Hey, Jonathan.
Hi,
6
sweetheart.
p.m.